Hello there, and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of News Tonight on the 16th day of June 2022. Tonight, Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja will be knowing if he will represent the people of Nairobi City County as their governor on Sunday. This, as many other politicians are about to know their fate between tomorrow and next week. Our senior political affairs reporter Apollo Kamau is currently at Milimani. We'll be linking up live with him right ahead of this broadcast. But first, let's have a look at the highlights. Tonight,
I will not fight to say I am what I'm not. And I'm not targeting anybody. So it is very shameful.
Wachaneni na Sakaja. Sakaja amesoma, Sakaja ako na makaratasi, Sakaja ndiye atakuwa governor wa Nairobi kwa mapenzi ya Mungu.
The degree debate gets messy as DP Ruto tells government to keep off Sakaja's gubernatorial race.
Kama kuna mtu ambaye hajulikani makaratasi yake ni ule candidate wa president wa Azimio. Makaratasi yake haijulikani imetoka kwa university gani.
Sakaja to know his fate Sunday. High Court judges expected to rule on the validity of his degree.
Hawa polisi tumekubaliana pia tukiingia within the first 100 days tuwatengenezea mshahara na marupurupu hata hawa angalia mambo yao.
Kenya Kwanza leaders take their campaigns to Kisii County.
Siku hizo 50 zimebaki, zikiisha niko na uhakika walio wengi tutasimama pamoja kama Azimio la Umoja.
As Azimio la Umoja leaders charm Embu residents.
Nafurahia kwamba nitakumbukwa kama yule speaker wakati wake. Pesa nyingi sana ziliweza kupitishwa kwenda kwenye counties.
And Senate set to adjourn sine die. Speaker Ken Lusaka rates the Senate as the best performing parliament despite challenges witnessed. Hello there, good evening. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter is Anne Warimo. Now, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is appealing to members of the public to help identify a man believed to be part of a larger criminal gang targeting and terrorizing M-Pesa operators within Nairobi and its environs. The DCI has released an image and a video of a man believed to be part of the gang that shot dead 2 traders at Adams Arcade Market Saturday evening. Police have since launched a manhunt for the suspects, as Mwangi Maina reports.
This is the image that was released by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations earlier Thursday, appealing to the members of the public to help identify the man believed to be part of a larger criminal syndicate terrorizing and maiming traders within Nairobi and its environs. The gang is said to be striking M-Pesa operators when they least expect and leave behind a trail of destruction after stealing from the traders. In the subsequent video released by the DCI, the thug is captured on CCTV cameras inside an Equity Bank mobile money agent making a transaction moments before stealing a mobile phone from the shop operator. After a short exchange with the shop operator, the thug is seen dashing out of the shop. With the operators in his hot pursuit, the thug vanishes in thin air. In In another chilling CCTV footage recorded at around 7 p.m. Saturday evening, the thug believed to have shot 2 traders at Adams Arcade Market in the company of his accomplice is seen stepping inside an M-Pesa shop when the trader was preparing to close. He demanded to buy cigarettes and was directed to another shop before accosting the trader at gunpoint before shooting. The victim, who would later be identified as 53-year-old Sophia Gathoni, is seen fighting with the robber's accomplice as he tries to forcefully enter her shop. Gathoni was shot again, and this time she fell down writhing in pain and wailing out, calling for help. Fellow traders are seen responding to her distress call. A few meters from Gathoni's shop, another trader, Paul Githenji, was lying in a pool of blood. Githenji was shot while dashing to Gathoni's shop to answer her distress call. Both Gathoni and Githenji were rushed to Nairobi Women's Hospital, which is a few meters away from the market. Githenji passed away a few hours later, while Gathoni died on Tuesday while admitted to the intensive care unit. Even as the DCI launches a manhunt for the thugs, questions continue to abound on the safety and security of Kenyans in Nairobi due to the increased levels of crime within the city. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report, and of course signed by my co-anchor Catherine Simaloi. Now, tonight, IEBC Disputes Resolutions Committee is expected to rule whether Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga should be disqualified from the presidential race. This is after Third Way Alliance party leader Dr. Ekuru Aukot told the committee that Odinga should be disqualified for being a state project and using public funds to campaign. Aukot, in his submissions, further claimed that public officers have been campaigning for Odinga, which is against the law. Now, the committee is expected to rule whether it has jurisdiction on the matter and whether Chebukati, who is not party to the case, should revoke Odinga's nomination, as our reporter Apollo Kamau now tells us from the Milimani Law Courts. Apollo, good evening. If you can hear me, what is the latest from where you are at?
Good evening, Monene. We are here at the Milimani Law Courts. The latest, as you have just said, we are waiting for a crucial ruling given the directions issued this morning by the committee hearing the case between Third Way Party Alliance leader Ekuru Aukot versus Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga. And this is all about the quest by Aukot to have Odinga disqualified in contesting this election. And he has laid his grounds, and one of the grounds he has laid is that he is a state project. He has been using public resources to campaign. He is banking on public servants or public officers in the conduct of his campaigns, and mentioning Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Karanja Kibicho, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Mushero, and even Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i. And then the third issue is the contestation between the Political Parties Act and the Elections Act, saying Odinga is not validly nominated as the Azimio presidential candidate, arguing he is a registered member of the ODM party. And this is where Odinga's legal team came in contesting that, even telling the committee that they do not have the jurisdiction to determine this issue. And therefore, that's why we are waiting. They are expected to issue the ruling any time now, and also state whether Odinga should run or should not contest, given our court's submissions this morning. A little while ago, we had Safina presidential candidate Jimmy Wanjigi, who was here, also doubting and also poking holes into what the chairman of the IEBC, Wafula Chebukati, did when he denied him the clearance certificate, saying he doesn't have a valid degree certificate. He did not meet the threshold of 2,000 signatures. And of course, the contest here was about Siaya and Nairobi. The case was made in court with, of course, his lawyer, Willis Otieno, saying they did meet all the threshold. And on the other hand, you have IEBC contesting that, telling the committee to uphold that decision. when he came outside here to speak, he said, reading politics into this, saying there could be another super agent more than Chebukati who is pulling the strings behind the scenes. His fate lies tomorrow. He will be coming here where the decision will be issued. The same case applies to former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. His case to contest in the Mombasa gubernatorial race will be determined tomorrow. So it's race against time. The committee are burning the midnight oil. They have divided themselves into 3 panels, sitting close to midnight. Some are leaving here as 2 a.m. in the morning because they have to dispense this by Sunday or Monday. And remember, they've been handling a lot of cases. So it's race against time to deliver these rulings, which have been constricted to tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Majority of them, and as you know, big names fighting for political survival are pegging their hopes on whatever outcome comes from the verdict here, Eric.
Well, thank you very much for that update, Apollo. But before I let you go, you're saying that big names are really watching the process and are eager to know how it goes. What kind of reprieve are some of them saying that they are hoping to get? Are they showing that they are optimistic? Are they confident with the whole process? Remember, there has been push and pull before this whole process began, before the IEBC Disputes Resolutions Committee began these hearings. There was a lot of push and pull between some aspirants and the IEBC. But now, what are the aspirants saying? Are they optimistic? Are they very confident with this process from where you are?
Well, Eric, from day one, which of course I've been covering this since Monday, we had Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka accompanying Mombasa gubernatorial aspirant Mike Sonko. And one of the things that emerged when he came to address us here, he poked holes into the independence of the tribunal sitting here. And later, the tribunal had to address the matter, questioning Wiper why they are raising the matter. And at the same time, they are expecting justice from the same tribunal. So it's been, depending on which side you sit, it's been a contest from the aspirants and the committee itself. We had Sakaja himself talking about political infiltration into the decision of the committee. Then we also had this case where we had one of the complainants represented by lawyer Nyamodi, who is Dennis Gakuo, who was trying to poke holes into the issue of the validity of one of the degrees. Saying it's like the committee has already made up its mind, and therefore they've been put on the defensive. And this morning there was also another case where our court wanted Chebukati to be here and to respond to the issues. No, sorry, Jimmy Wanjigi wanted Chebukati to be here this afternoon and to respond why he denied him the certificate. And the committee did say they have no jurisdiction on the issue, and they removed themselves from this, saying their mandate is confined to the process of nomination where it started up to this point, the conduct of the returning officers in making the decisions they made. Those are matters outside their jurisdiction. So this process, since it started, they've been put on the defensive. And the aspirants on the other side are piling pressure, questioning their independence, starting with Kalonzo's case. And therefore, it will be very interesting to hear the sentiments after key rulings will be made starting tomorrow all the way to Sunday, Eric.
Well, thank you very much, Apollo Kamau, for that update. I hope we'll be keeping tabs with you much later on ahead on this bulletin. I hope we'll be linking up with you live again for another update in case there is an update at the Milimani locals. That's our senior political affairs reporter, Apollo Kamau, who is covering the much publicized issue of aspirants having locked horns with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and now this is their last chance to know if they are going all the way to the ballot or they'll have to shelve their dreams just before the August 9th general election. And we'll be keeping an eye on that. Now, moving on. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i now says that the ongoing debate focusing on the academic qualifications of candidates eyeing elective seats is a threat to the country's security. According to Matiang'i, tension in the country continues to rise due to the debate surrounding the degree qualification. And elsewhere, Deputy President William Ruto has defended Nairobi gubernatorial aspirant Johnson Sakaja, saying that the debate surrounding his academic credentials is politically instigated. Sharon Baranga with the details.
The debate on whether Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja graduated or not has dominated headlines in the past 1 week. A section of Kenyans weighing in on the matter, with some producing pictures proving their academic papers are in order.
Mumesema tubadilishe uchumi kwanza.
And now, for the first time, UDA party leader and the vehicle Sakaja hopes to use in contesting for Nairobi gubernatorial seat has come out to defend him, saying the allegations are politically instigated.
Watu wawache kupiga simu kila mahali kujaribu kuhujumu kijana anaitwa Sakaja kwa sababu ameonekana ndiye atashinda na atakuwa gavana wa Nairobi. Kwa sababu wameona tumewashinda, sasa wanamtafutia hujuma, wanampangia ndugu yetu mheshimiwa Sakaja eti hana makaratasi. Nyinyi mkiona Sakaja anakaa mtu amesoma ama hajasoma? Sakaja ni kijana shujaa ambaye amesoma na anaeleweka. Mimi nataka niwaambie watu wa Kuzimia, waachaneni na Sakaja. Sakaja amesoma, Sakaja ako na makaratasi, Sakaja ndiye atakuwa gavana wa Nairobi kwa mapenzi ya Mungu. Kama mnataka mkutane na sisi kwa debe, wachana na mambo ya kuzungusha Sakaja kwa kesi baada ya kesi.
Ruto, on the other hand, has questioned the academic credentials of Azimio's coalition presidential candidate Raila Odinga.
Kama kuna mtu ambaye hajulikani makaratasi yake ni ule candidate wa president wa Azimio. Makaratasi yake haijulikani imetoka kwa university gani. Huyo candidate wenu wa Azimio ni mtu ambaye hana classmate hata moja. Ni mtu ambaye hakuna mtu anasema alikuwa lecturer yake. Ni mtu ambaye hajulikani alisomea university gani. So wacheni kutusumbua.
And as the debate of questionable academic papers continues to rage on, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says it is shameful for anyone to have a difficult time in trying to prove they completed their university education.
From a professional point of view, I, as Magoha, son of Magoha, I will not fight to say I am what I'm not. And I'm not targeting anybody. So it is very shameful that people who want to be our leaders, and there are many of them, are fighting to prove that. If you had to ask me who are my classmates 46, 47 years ago at the University of Lagos, I'll give you a battery of them. They are all over the world. Most of them have retired. So I would want to urge our people, and the politicians in particular, and more so the parliamentarians, to stop destroying our universities. Our universities need to be right-sized, and they need to be regimented. And of course, like at the University of Nairobi, if you want transcripts of somebody who studied there in 1975, you just touch a button and you will get the transcripts. That's what I did there. And I must be proud of myself, because if I'm not proud of myself, who will be proud of me?
Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Now, the last witness in the murder case of businesswoman Monica Kimani today told the court that the suspects Joey Rungu and Jackie Maribe murdered Monica. He told the court that on the fateful night, Rungu was driven to Lemuria Gardens where the murder occurred. Appearing before Justice Grace Nzioka, Inspector Maxwell Otieno, who is the chief investigator in the case, said that the results released from one of the DNA samples, including blood spots in the house, some clothes found in Monica's bedroom, and items found in the sink, are believed to be one of Joey's clothes that he was wearing during the night of the murder. Detectives later moved to where Joey and Maribe were residing, where they recovered a gun from the neighbor Brian Kasaine, who they arrested and later released.
That movement. That's why there's this arrow. What's which side? The arrow was the cause of death, which was indicated in the same exhibit, was due to severe neck injuries due to sharp force trauma. Also, another exhibit, my lady, one mobile phone, iPhone 8 Plus. This belonged to accused number 1.
45C, my lady. We had marked it as 45C.
They were also in custody of motor vehicle registration number KCA 031E, make Allion silver in color, which belonged to the second accused person.
Now, tonight, the Senate has adjourned its sittings indefinitely in preparation for the August general election. The House has debated on the increased debt ceiling that was passed by the National Assembly. Paul Kirobi now reports.
The Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Ken Lusaka, is in the chamber this afternoon. I'm now handing you over for the live broadcast. Enjoy your viewing and good afternoon.
The Senate today adjourned sine die, just 53 days to the August pause. This comes just days after the National Assembly adjourned its sittings. Before its adjournment, the House debated on crucial bills, with a section of senators lauding Speaker Kenneth Lusaka for a job well done.
Let me thank you for respecting culture and allowing me to be able to stand here fully to represent my culture, the great people of Maasai. And this demonstrates, Mr. Speaker, your commitment to appreciating the diversity that exists in this country.
The other thing is that because we trust you and your committee, because the committee is made up of yourself and the members of the panel, we hope that there are not too many problems with eyes and legs and arms, like my colleagues might fear with a child. I hope the child is fine. Speaker, I do also want to conclude saying that this is it. This is probably your last duty as a Speaker of this House. We know you're going into another office, so this is probably a place where you can speak equivocally that you have done a good job.
Senators adjourned with crucial bills pending before the House.
Standing orders emanate from the Constitution. They are as good as law. They carry the same weight as an ordinary statute because they flow from the Constitution. And I agree with Senator Cheriot, Senator for Kericho, that to bring these amendments at this time, and they have been tabled yesterday, and many of us have not actually read this report. I think it's a little bit unfair.
I remember in my maiden speech, I committed to ensure that we liberate the Mau forest. And I'm happy that during my time as a senator, I fought so hard to ensure that we preserve our environment and to make sure that at least we continue respecting dignity.
The Senate proceedings had its own share of drama, ranging from the impeachment motions, with some senators decrying failure by the Senate to debate on crucial matters, touching on devolution and Kenyans in general.
We're leaving the Senate today with a lot of unfinished business that we've passed in our respective committees. I have a lot that we did in the Labour Committee, in the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and the committees we've sat at, that members have expressed continuously that if there had been an implementation committee to make sure the resolutions of this House are followed up consistently, then it would make the Senate more effective.
A good number of senators are looking forward to succeed their governors in the August elections. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Out to politics, the Kenya Kwanza Brigade took today its campaigns to Kisii and Nyamira counties, where they continued to popularize the bottom-up economic agenda. Ruto urged Kenyans to vote for him in the August election, saying his opponents have nothing to offer to Kenyans. Josh Onsari with the details.
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade, led by UDA presidential candidate William Ruto and his running mate Rigathi Gachagua, pitched tent in various counties.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe!
Ruto and ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula promised to revive the economy, blaming the harsh economic times on the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga.
Crisis we have today of unemployment is because of the people who sabotaged the Big Four plan that had a clear roadmap on creating employment for our young people.
Free education will be free education for everybody.
Mheshimiwa Uhuru, ukienda nyumbani, Wakenya watakumbuka wewe na Raila ndio mliongeza bei ya fertilizer.
The leaders, while meeting the people in Manga, Isecha, Kiogoro and Nyaguta in Nyamira and Kisii counties, called on the residents to elect leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance in the August polls.
Kazi yote kitendawili amefanya hapa. Kuna barabara amejenga. Kuna mambo ya stima amepanga. Masomo ya watoto wenu amefanya. Hata sadaka peke yake kanisani amelete.
Agenda ya kuzimia haiwezi ikarekebisha uchumi wa Kenya. Hawa jamaa ideas zao zimekoma. Wamekuwa ancient. Hawaendi pahali popote.
Kenyans, we cannot be conned anymore. We know the track record of Raila Odinga. We know his track record on matters economy. He has zero record when it comes to employment.
Elsewhere in Kiambu County, DP Ruto's running mate Rigathi Gachagua and leaders allied to Kenya Kwanza Alliance continued to popularize the coalition's bottom-up economic agenda, saying it is the real deal for all Kenyans.
Nikuambia kitendawili, hakuna makanisa utafunga, hakuna mtuba utapiga marufuku kwa sababu hutakuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. We want to tell our brothers who we are competing with, you cannot be the source of the high cost of living in Kenya and become the solution at the same time.
With only 53 days to the August polls, the Kenya Kwanza leaders have called on Kenyans to turn out in large numbers to elect Ruto as the 5th president of Kenya.
Na tunataka tarehe 9, kwa sababu mmesema mmechoka. Na mimi nimechoka. Nataka tarehe 9 kura zote zielekee kwa William Samoei Ruto. Chama ni UDA. Rais wetu ni William Samoei Ruto. Tukionyesha hawa watu ya kwamba tunapatia William Ruto kura. Tafadhali mahali Ruto, tutasimama na William Samoei Ruto. Zimia ama Kenya Kwanza? Ni kuzimia ama Kenya Kwanza?
Josh Onsare, TV 47.
Now moving on, Azimio running mate Martha Karua today pitched tent in Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties where she continued to popularize Raila Odinga's presidential bid. Karua urged residents to rally behind Odinga's presidential bid, promising to tame corruption in the country if Azimio One Kenya coalition forms the next government. Here's Mike Kagongo with the details.
Just a day after Azimio running mate Martha Karua traversed her home ground of Kirinyaga County, today the former Geshogo MP took the Azimio campaigns to Meru and Tharaka Nithi counties. Karua was treated to a stirring welcome from area residents at ACK Gitoro as she strived to cement her long-time relationship with Meru residents.
Wakati tulipoingia kwa serikali ya Rais Kibaki pamoja, ndugu yangu Kiraito alikuwa ndani ya hiyo serikali. Si tuliwafanyia kazi na mkafurahia. Lakini wacha niseme kazi baba alifanya. Raila alipatiwa kazi ya mabarabara. Wakati huo nilikuwa waziri wa maji, naye Kiraito akiwa kwa justice.
Karua thanked the county residents for standing with her and appreciating her appointment, saying she is ready to serve the nation in the position of a deputy president should Azimio form the next government.
Ati Mlima Kenya yote inasema nini? Azimio. Wewe ambayo haujakubaliana nasi, ikiwa iko mmoja hapa au kule nje, hatukulaumu. Uko na haki ya kuwa na maono tofauti, lakini habari ni hii: hatutachoka kukuhubiria. Leo ni kupanda, kesho kunyunyuzia maji, kesho kutwa kupalilia. Tutaendelea. Siku hizo 50 zimebaki, sikiisha, niko na uhakika walio wengi tutasimama pamoja kama Azimio la Umoja.
The NARC Kenya leader promised to popularize the Azimio coalition in the region and ensure they win a majority of the votes in the August 9 polls.
So for me, Mother Karua is God sent. Mother Karua is a person who has come at the right time. Mother Karua is the person in the right time at the right place. Na huyu ndio anakuja kuokoa Kenya.
The leaders implored county residents to give the coalition a chance to serve them so as they could better their lives.
You know, democracy means a government of the people, by the people, for the people. A kleptocracy is a government of thieves, by thieves, for thieves. We are likely to make a mistake and bring a government of thieves.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance flag bearer Raila Odinga is expected to tour Meru County this Saturday, where he is expected to continue to popularize his presidential bid. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47.
Well, at 29 minutes past the hour, time now for a very short break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
Well, do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why niliweka goose na si ducks
goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's no secret, construction ain't cheap. But how do we make it affordable? Different individuals are finding ways of cutting down cost by use of pre-stressed slabs other than reinforced concrete, recycling plastics to make pavers.
The brick is stronger, it's cheaper, and it's lighter.
And recycling wastewater in your household.
What happens to my waste from the washroom, the solid waste? All that can break down.
Those are just but a few. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. we talk construction.
There's no alpha without an omega. There's no lead without any followers. No man is an island. We need each other. We need this conference.
We say it, we do it, we act it.
Kama una mpenzi wako, kila siku kama nilivyosema, kila siku mwishi mapenzi.
We don't toe the line, we set the standard. We don't eat the grass, we lead the pack.
As an alpha male, you're also a leader. Not to just women, friends and family, but to everyone else you've never met before.
We are the beauty, the spice and the brains. The men's conference where men become alpha males.
And you can catch us every Wednesday at 10 p.m. This is The Grind. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot.
So I decided, let me just take this up, put the teaching on hold first. Let me try see where this can go.
I mean, the opportunities are a lot. But is that all you need? Oh wait, there's more. This seems a little too much. Let's slow it down.
You do this is something you do out of passion.
Join me, Violet Njoki, as I navigate through the maze of the increasingly dynamic business environment and quiet down the noises. As I help you flourish in business every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
It's no secret, construction ain't cheap. Of Untold Stories.
Thirty-five minutes past the hour. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Senate Speaker Kenneth Lusaka says the 12th Parliament was the best and Senate did its best despite of the challenges witnessed in an interview with our parliamentary reporter Elizabeth Mutuku. Now Lusaka says that the tough moments which came with division of revenue bill and impeachment moments hardened his leadership skills.
This opportunity, I would like to ask this about the 12th Parliament, generally what you think about it, and also the third schedule of this Senate, where you've been the Speaker.
It's been a privilege and an honor for me to serve as the third Speaker of this great House, the Senate. It's been a very good experience, and it's a House I'm proud of, that the milestones we have made, the bills we have passed, the motions we have passed, will go down in the annals of history about our contribution as a House. It's a House that has conducted itself with a lot of decorum, a lot of integrity. You've not seen, we have had a war of words, exchange of words, but you've not had anybody pick a seat, water, or any object to express their difference physically. This is something that I must really credit our current senators, the maturity which they exhibited. Of course, we have also had our own challenges as a House. Challenges, we really pushed for oversight money, which was not forthcoming. I just pray that the third Senate will be able to get that. Some of my low moments were, for example, when it came to, of course, replacing the leadership. as proposed by the Jubilee Party. Not that most of those were people I had worked with. We belong to the same party. But again, I was tied by the law. I was guided by the standing orders and the Constitution in their removal. And of course, when it came to the shareable revenue formula, remember temperatures rose very high. We had incidences where some senators were arrested, and I had to make very quick decisions when the House became very hot. Where, for example, they were saying the House could not proceed with their colleagues.
There are moments some senators even called for your impeachment.
Yes, they called for...
still on that seat.
Yes.
Is it something you regret?
I don't regret. I knew that was at the power of the moment. I think at some point, sometime, they may not have understood me, because I'm not a person who is... I'm a very calm person the way I do my things. And having been in public life for a long time, I know when to go up and I know when to go low. I knew the temperatures will come down. So if I also went up, that house would not have been managed. Some saw it as a weakness, but I think it's a strength, where when people are really up, you must now rise above that and stabilize the ship. Otherwise, if you also become high, then all of you drown.
And also Kenyans, at some point, they felt that there have been duplications of roles. It's something which has been there. And also you've seen the miscellaneous bill, which touches more on the Senate. What do you think about it?
They're very clear. If you read the article, is it 96, 97, 98? The rules are very clear. And we are not a subsidiary of another house. We are a house constituted. We are in the Constitution, and that is what Kenyans wanted. So there's no duplication. What we are doing is that we check each other. That's why you find that, a matter that may find a certain position in the National Assembly may get a different position in the Senate. That's the way it's supposed to be. We don't have to concur all the time. Otherwise, there will be no need for the two houses. So one must be seen as a house of, if you ask me, a house of reference, or to check the other house. Because if it's only one house, they can come up with the outrageous, say, laws that can easily take the country backwards, like the miscellaneous amendment that we made noise about. Mm-hmm. Some of the provisions that had been put there were simply weakening the Senate and even unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. And that's why we had to make noise. So you can imagine if the Senate was not there, or if we did not talk about it, and then that is passed. You are even abusing the whole Bill of Rights. For example, one of the provisions that they were amending to say once investigations commence, then somebody should not access the office. That's really against is unconstitutional, because you are innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things I know they were trying to get from the rulings, that some rulings from the courts, but I think it's not fair. So I think that there's no duplication. Each one of us have our role. It's just a matter of somebody feeling maybe they want to be the big brother syndrome. But I think we just need to know that we need to mutually exist. That's why I don't want to talk about it, because it's a matter that's going to come on the floor of the House. It has not yet been, of course, it was passed in the National Assembly. It is coming to on the floor of the House this afternoon. I told you I don't debate. I don't want to preempt anything. It will be up to members to debate it and take a position on the floor of the House when it comes to voting.
It's in the same Senate where your bodies were chased out of different committees and political parties. Somehow they say the Senate and also the 12th Parliament was captured by the executive.
The 12th Parliament has played its role. I cannot say it has been captured anywhere. In fact, people will always say that. How have they been captured? All I know is that the government of the day normally will have an agenda to prosecute in the House. And it's up to the government, using the leader of majority who actually prosecutes government business on the floor of the House, to make sure that it's properly prosecuted, get numbers, and vote when the voting comes, so that the government of the day carries the day, or the agenda of the agenda of the government carries the day. If you don't lobby well, then you lose on the floor of the House.
And of course, what were your low moments and high moments in the Senate?
Of course, my high moments were when we actualized the Senate Mashinani. That was a very good initiative. I hope that now the 13th Senate will continue with what we started. It was a good thing. Of course, the shareable revenue bill is both positive, and maybe it was my lowest and my highest, because the lowest, the temperatures were very high, to the point of even members threatening to impeach me. But at the end of the day, everybody was happy in that no county lost money. In fact, we jumped from 315 billion to 370, something that was going to take about 7 years to be realized. So I think that was both a high and a low moment. Of course, one of the moments, like I have already mentioned, which was very difficult, was the issue of replacement of leadership in the House by the Jubilee Party. And even the other party, I think they also removed the Senator Weta and replaced him with Orengo. So those are the things, that the dynamics that were playing in the House. And again, my role was limited because I don't vote, I don't debate. These are decisions that are made by the parties. Mine is just to ensure that the law has been followed. I'm guided by the Constitution and the standing orders. And of course, the impeachments that came against some of these people are my friends. But again, like a hangman, when the law says they hang you, even if it's your brother, you will be hanged. So you cannot blame me. I was just executing my mandate as a speaker.
Given an opportunity, would you like to serve in the same position?
I'll gladly take it. It's a very prestigious, very good position. It has given me very good exposure, both nationally and internationally. I've made networks. As I speak, I'm currently the president of the ICGLR, the Great Lakes. I have been attending IPU in the Parliamentary Union, where I've met many people over 112 countries. I have also visited other parliaments in the US, in France, and other countries that we share that have bicameral parliaments. So it's been a very good exposure, and I don't mind serving again
In the same position.
in the same position. Maybe.
Have you ever thought of quitting in this 12th Parliament?
No. I don't believe in quitting. I believe in fighting to the end, and especially when I'm sure that I'm right. I want to say that never crossed my mind, and maybe as a parting shot,
Thank you.
I want to say thank all the senators, especially those who gave me an opportunity to serve them, those who voted for me. Thank His Excellency the President for proposing my name as a speaker. And as I finish, as a human being, I may have also stepped on somebody's toes, either deliberately or not deliberately. I must say I'm sorry if I ever did that. And for those that also wronged me, I also ask them to forgive me. I also forgive them. And we now go to an election. Let's have a peaceful election and look forward to a peaceful election and a vibrant 13th Parliament, both the Senate and the National Assembly.
All right, thank you so much. We're looking forward maybe to be a blessing in your next assignment. And thank you so much for being so open to us. Back to you in studio.
Well, thank you very much, Elizabeth Mutuko, for that. Now, in a bid to achieve the 70% vaccination target set by the World Health Organization, the Ministry of Health has launched a booster dose vaccination campaign drive across all the 71 KMTC campuses in the country. This as the COVID-19 numbers in the country continue to rise, with the country recording a 13% positivity rate.
This is the current situation across all vaccination centers in the country. The completely deserted vaccination centers and these sealed vaccine preservatives being enough proof that Kenyans are not turning up for the mass vaccination drive launched by the Ministry of Health in November last year. A campaign whose aim was to ensure that over 150,000 Kenyans get vaccinated on a daily basis.
Our statistics show us that young adults have not yet embraced the vaccination uptake campaign, even when there is evidence that so many of them actually contract the virus. And the situation is even worse on the youth who are expected to or are about to join universities and colleges.
Teenagers aged between 15 and 17 years have the lowest vaccination uptake, with only 1.4 million of the population in this age group being fully vaccinated. This despite the Ministry of Health targeting to vaccinate 5.8 million teenagers by December this year.
Our statistics show us that young adults have not yet embraced the vaccination uptake campaign, even when there is evidence that so many of them actually contract the virus.
It is this low vaccine uptake among teenagers and the youth that has prompted the Ministry of Health to launch a booster dose vaccination campaign at the Kenya Medical Training College in a bid to make the vaccination centers easily accessible to the youth, including the over 50,000 KMTC students in the country.
Our decision to launch the accelerated COVID-19 vaccination program in these institutions stems out of the realization that a big part of our youthful population have yet to get the full COVID-19 vaccination.
The World Health Organization had set a 70% vaccination target for all countries in the world. However, only the countries of China and Brazil have surpassed this target.
A recent report by the WHO estimates that by May of this year, 1 billion people in lower-income countries remain unvaccinated.
Kenya is among the countries yet to achieve that 70% target, since only 31.4% of the population is fully vaccinated. The Ministry of Health now targets to vaccinate the entire adult population by the end of this year.
We note the WHO reports that the vaccine supply has improved. We also know that it has improved, but on the other hand, the uptake still remains to be very low.
The calls for Kenyans to get the booster shot comes at a time when the country's positivity rate stands at 12.9% after 427 people tested positive from a sample size of 3,307. The Ministry of Health has reiterated the need for Kenyans, especially those with underlying medical conditions, to get their booster dose, which will now be available across all the 71 KMTC campuses in the country. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47 from the Kenya Medical Training College, Nairobi.
Now moving on, Marsabit residents are calling on the government to ease up on the curfew hours. According to traders in the area, they continue to count huge losses following the dusk to dawn curfew, urging the government to revise the curfew.
Hii kaifu imeingia. Tunataka kaifu arudi mpaka saa 1 ya usiku.
Marsabit residents are lamenting over the dusk to dawn curfew imposed by the government in the area. According to the residents, this has affected them greatly as a majority continue to incur huge losses due to the curfew.
Curfew imetuadhiri watu wa Marsabit, wakaaji wa Marsabit, kwa sababu kama watu wa taxi actually tunaenda mapema nyumbani, hatuwezi pata pesa. Unaona pesa imepotea, hakuna pesa.
Majority of traders are forced to close their businesses early to ensure they do not cross paths with security officers enforcing the curfew.
Masaa saa 12 kila mtu amefunga. Kila mtu anakimbia nyumbani. Kila mtu amefunga mali yake. Kila mtu amepotea. Sasa kuliko hiyo, afadhali atuongezee muda hata kama ifika saa 3 usiku, afadhali hiyo. Ndio hata biashara kidogo, wale watu wa biashara, watu wasukuma ndani ya Marsabit town ndani, hata wenyewe wapate nafasi ya kuuza kidogo at least.
The residents are now calling on the government to lift the curfew, saying it's hurting their businesses.
Tunaenda hasara, tunarudisha hii mazua, magari anatuacha na sisi tunaenda mbali.
This comes just 2 weeks after Interior CS Fred Matiang'i visited the area and promised residents that the curfew hours will be revised if normalcy is restored.
But I have promised that we will review the operation in another 3 to 4 weeks, and subject to the performance at that time, we will see whether we can review the operation by 1 hour or 2 hours to address the issue of the traders in town who want an additional 1 hour of business. And because they're happy with the operation and they're happy that it is working.
The police operation, which is in its second month, resulted in the seizure of more than 200 guns and more than 3,000 rounds of ammunition from civilians. Muthoni Maina, TV47.
Now moving on, Kenya today joined the world in marking Domestic Workers' Day with Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, urging the government to bar Kenyans from travelling to the Gulf in search of work, as Chepto Boit now tells us.
The country has today joined the world in marking the International Day of Domestic Workers, with this year's theme being making a decent work a reality beyond COVID-19.
To go to the Middle East.
The Central Organization of Trade Unions, COTU, has accused the Ministry of Labour of allowing domestic workers to work in the Gulf, yet nothing is being done to prevent them from being tortured abroad.
This is where there is a problem. They are the people who are supposed to protect Kenyans going to Cuba or to Gulf. And then there are the same people having employment agencies or companies that are dealing in recruitment of workers. This is completely unattainable. Is slavery that is being perpetuated. And you remember I started talking these things long time ago. That let us ban employment agencies. Let us change laws.
According to Atuli, the government should sign an agreement with the Gulf states before allowing the workers to leave the country.
Currently, they have ganged up against the acting labor commissioner because she's trying to query, is this the way should we work? She has an experience in that ministry. They don't want her to be confirmed as a labor commissioner. They have ganged up senior people in that ministry. They have labor, they have employment agencies. And these are the people perpetuating a lot of problems for our children and for our daughters and what have you. This one should be highlighted.
The Ministry of Labour has, however, defended itself by saying that it has put in place necessary measures to ensure that credible and legal agencies are in operation.
The ministry also is fast-tracking the finalization of labour migration policy and bills. Further, the ministry is working on diaspora welfare fund, which is now in progress. We need the formation of a domestic workers council also.
It is estimated that up to 100,000 Kenyans leave the country for Gulf countries in search of work. Cases of domestic workers' rights being violated is not new in the country and even abroad, hence the need of these challenges to be highlighted on this day as we celebrate them. Chepto Boit, TV47, Kiambu County.
Well, thank you very much for that, Chepto Boit. Let's hope it's not all talk and nothing will be done. Time now for the week's fact check. Welcome. Now, a video showing Interior Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i talking about fake academic credentials has been shared online widely, with some people saying that the CS was referring to the current situation of many leaders presenting questionable academic credentials to be cleared by IEBC to vie. Now, with the issue currently generating a lot of debate, we reached out to the Interior Ministry just to get a clear picture and the context to which the remarks could be connected to. And that is when we found out that the clip is not as recent as it has been made to seem.
A leader turned up with a certificate of attending a crusade, which was written in some language from South America. And because of the hurry, they allowed the fellow to go and run for an election. So later on, when someone with linguistic competencies from that area was found, they said, okay, look at this. This is supposed to be a master's degree. They said, no. This is actually, in the language, when you translate it, it is a certificate of attending a crusade.
Well, the CS was actually making the remarks at the ODPP graduation ceremony that was held on March 21st, 2021. That is last year. Now, while the issue of the fake academic credential is very much alive now as it was then, we just felt it was important to highlight the fact that all video clips might be edited to suit a certain agenda and the context altered. That has been your fact check for this week. Welcome to business. Now, local production and increased intracontinental trade have been encouraged in order to boost trade ties and enhance economic development in the continent. Now, speaking during his visit, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema said that the African continent possesses great potential in enhancing its economic growth and invited other African leaders to sign MOUs that will continuously seek ways to increase trade relations across the continent.
Yes, and all over the world, our governments, this quotation, which says,
it is us together. Let's save the transactions. Let's save the trade activities, investment, joint, people to people, business to business, government to government, Africa. Let's do it. We've agreed with President Kenyatta that even when he exits office, he has carved himself a role in this agenda to bring countries' businesses together.
Our president has fostered, deepened, and institutionalized a very solid partnership with the private sector. Again, the other day when we had challenges of COVID-19, we can now say the truth. We wouldn't have done much if our private sector did not step in. These wonderful people, Your Excellency, brought in PPEs, brought in, money. I mean, the amount of money James Mwangi brought in from the bank and other bankers and other people, they're the ones who are driving, the campaign during COVID-19 and gave us suggestions. My brother and they were here from Safaricom, and the amount of investments they have made in working together. Our president has erased the line between government and private sector. We serve the same people, we are the same people, and we serve the same country. And this spirit, this commitment to working together and looking out for each other, is what makes a difference.
Now, hotel prices are expected to increase following the increase in fuel prices in the country, a move that is expected to greatly affect the sector. According to the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers CEO Michael Masharia, hotel owners have decided to hike the prices to cushion them from the harsh economic times.
Which is probably the ways and the improvements are moving into an area where we have to
kick off the next session. Enjoy your cup of tea and see you at
coming to an establishment like this, and you always have within your face something.
Thank you very much. We also have a new kid on the block.
I don't want it to sound like we are having a theoretical discussion. It has to be something that you see just like we see within the establishment that I have. How else can I optimize the experience within the establishment that I have?
To maintain hotels are very expensive, and therefore losses remain. I can't see it less than 4 years. We can't, even if we operate at full. A hotel like this one, to run the electrical bill alone could be 70 million per month. And therefore, if you have been running the hotel like this for only power for 2 years, you can see how much it is.
We are seeing aircraft that should have been coming here at least more than once a week, coming now only once a week. And this is what is resulting to the agitation by the people of Mombasa and the coast generally, so that we don't lose those clients that we had. Because what will happen if we don't allow them in, then they will go to another destination that will allow them. And our biggest competitor right now is Zanzibar for the coast product and Dar es Salaam. So we are calling on government to relook at that transport policy and allow more of this aircraft to land directly here.
We appreciate that you are able to do the task that is required. And you see, all the countries that have industrialized in this world is that they have always relied on skills, the market being skill intensive.
The Nyeri County government has revised its target for on-source revenue from 1 billion shillings to 700 million shillings in its 2022-2023 budget. While presenting the 7.58 billion budget to the County Assembly, Finance Executive Robert Thuo explained that the decision was arrived at after the Health Department was exempted from contributing to the on-source revenue fund following the creation of the Nyeri Health Service Fund that will enable the department to be autonomous and spend at source.
For the resource envelope, we expect the national government to give us our equitable share. We expect our good friends, donors, to give us some funding. We also expect that we shall be able to generate our own source revenue so that we're able to finance the budget. This time round, I have revised the own source revenue targets from 1 billion to 700 million. This is because we have created a Nyeri Health Services Fund, which means that the Department of Health, through its own source revenue, is not compelled to remit their collections to the county own source revenue fund or the CRF account.
Now, Zurich-based waste management technology provider Hitachi Zosen Innova HZI has announced its entry into the Kenyan market through a partnership with Saintmont Group Limited. Now, speaking during the Energy Congress, HZI Sales Director URS Altenberger has said that the partnership includes development of local waste management plans as a long-term solution for recycling waste into electricity and fuel. She further added that Africa is currently recycling only 4% of its waste, a far cry from the African Union vision that expects African cities to recycle at least 50% of the waste they generate by 2023.
So there has to be a very proper, detailed framework so that if I come in as an investor, because this is not something that NMS alone can do or any other county government can do, we need that kind of partnership in form of a properly, or in form of a framework that takes the interest of everyone on board in terms of waste availability and also the sustainability of the plant.
Some years back, we had some support within Nairobi City County from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA. For those who are aware of them and possibly maybe for those who are coming from other countries have probably maybe benefited from that support. Out of that, there was an integrated solid waste management plan that was developed for the city of Nairobi.
Well, at 3 minutes past 10 p.m., we now take a very short break. Dongwa will be back with more, including the latest in the world of sports.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
J.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent. I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
hapa, the reason why niliweka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's no secret, construction ain't cheap. But how do we make it affordable? Different individuals are finding ways of cutting down cost by use of pre-stressed slabs other than reinforced concrete, recycling plastics to make pavers.
The brick is stronger, it's cheaper, and it's lighter.
And recycling wastewater in your household.
What happens to my waste from the washroom, the solid waste? All that can break down.
Those are just but a few. Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. we talk construction.
There's no alpha without an omega. There's no lead without any followers. No man is an island. We need each other. We need this conference.
We say it, we do it, we act it.
Kama una mpenzi wako, kila siku kama nilivyosema, kila siku maishi mapenzi.
We don't toe the line, we set the standard. We don't eat the grass, we lead the pack.
As an alpha male, you're also a leader. Not just women, friends and family, but to everyone else you've never met before.
We are the beauty, the spice and the brains. The men's conference where men become alpha males.
And you can catch us every Wednesday at 10 p.m. This is The Grind. Only those who will risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. T.S. Eliot.
So I decided, let me just take this up, put the teaching on hold first. Let me try see where this can go.
I mean, the opportunities are a lot. But is that all you need? Oh wait, there's more.
Welcome to the latest in the world of sports. Now, Issa Amwari earlier today received a sponsorship deal from a betting company, Mozzartbet, as preparations for the upcoming WRC Safari Rally intensify. Speaking during the event, Amwari, who took part in the competition for the last 12 years, has vowed that despite the stiff competition, he is determined to register good results in this year's event. Meanwhile, Amwari will drive a Mitsubishi Evolution 10 car with the competition set to tee off on Thursday next week.
Na tunaahidi kwamba tutaperform poa, tutajaribu the best we can. We have been participating in Kenya National Rally Championship for the last 12 years. We are one of the top drivers in Kenya. Our car